Hey guys, I'm at the ancient Vittala temple in Hampi, and I just found out there are strange holes drilled all around the temple. It appears that no one has noticed them because they are not easy to find unless you examine these walls very closely. These series of holes are just about a centimeter wide. How did ancient builders drill these holes on granite, which is one of the hardest rocks in the world? Today, we use diamond-tipped drill bits to create such holes on granite, but how was it done in ancient times? But there is something much more fascinating. Directly above this series of holes, we can see another row of holes a little bit bigger than the ones below. And there's a third row of holes right above this as well, making the pattern much more complex. But the most important question is not how they drill these holes, but why? Why were these holes drilled all around the temple? Archaeologists say these were created for mere decoration, for simple reasons like placing flowers or incense sticks all around the temple. But these theories are not convincing. Is there a way to find out if these holes were made for mere decoration or if they were an important part of the temple's design? See, the ancient builders were extremely intelligent. They predicted these structures would be destroyed in the future by human beings. So they created a small 3D model of the temple within the temple itself, which details the most important aspects of the temple. Here you can see that this model shows how the original temple looked before it was destroyed by invaders. It was complete with multiple levels and finished with these objects called kalasha, which is how a finished temple would look. But why am I randomly showing you this model while discussing about the holes in the temple? Because if these holes around the temple were carved for a very important reason, the 3D model would also have these holes. If they were drilled for mere decoration, it won't be detailed in the model because the model only shows you the most important features of the temple. So I examined this model to see if there are any holes carved on it, and I find exactly what I'm looking for. Here are a series of very minute holes carved in the model. These holes are actually just 1 millimeter wide. I think I've just discovered the smallest holes ever drilled in ancient times. 1 millimeter holes on granite created by ancient builders. How is something like that even possible without the help of machines? Remember, the whole city of Hampi is full of evidence about ancient machining technology, and I showed you how they used lathe machines in my previous video. You can click on the card on the top right corner to see it. So these minute holes on the model prove that the holes were not created for mere decoration, but an important part of the temple's design. But the big question that needs to be answered is this: why were these holes drilled all around the temple? Remember, I've shown you something very similar in Brihadeeswara temple, which was built 1,000 years ago, and this structure also has these minute holes around its base. Why do these ancient temples have minute holes drilled all around the base? To understand this, we have to examine what ancient temples actually represent. You might wonder why ancient Indian temples always look like rocket spacecraft. Well, they were in fact designed specifically to look like spacecraft. The main structure inside any temple complex is called Vimana, which actually means aircraft or spacecraft. All Hindu temples have this Vimana, which is always aerodynamically shaped. This structure at Hampi has been destroyed, but from the model we can clearly see that this Vimana is also aerodynamically shaped with multiple levels. If you look at the base of a modern-day rocket, you can see something very fascinating. They always have multiple holes at the bottom. These holes are called exhaust nozzles, and these multiple holes are important for balancing and changing the direction of the rocket. These holes are the reason why well-designed rockets go straight up and follow the desired path, while homemade rockets with just one hole will almost never do that. Without going into too many details, unlike homemade rockets which use fuel in just one chamber, advanced rockets make sure the fuel is distributed into many small channels. And we can see the same design on this temple as well. I'm pouring water, but assume that this is fuel and watch what happens. The fuel will be distributed through the bigger holes on top, and each bigger hole actually has a separator in the middle, which will make the fuel into two streams, and these two streams will be channeled into the smaller holes at the bottom. So imagine what happens when fuel is released from the center of the Vimana. There would be thousands of fuel streams distributed all around the structure, which will create a very balanced propulsion. Of course, these structures are megalithic models of actual spacecraft. Now we can understand why these holes are so important that they were drilled even on the miniature model. Once we realize that this Vimana is a rocket model, we can start understanding many different carvings around it. We can see lions breathing fire right next to these holes. But why are the flames going down instead of going up? Light a candle and the fire will point up. Now invert the candle and the flame will still point up, because flames always point up. The only way for fire to point down is by creating fuel-powered thrust, just like a rocket. You can see the same carvings of fire-breathing lions in Mahabalipuram, and you can see a multi-stage rocket carved with all the details. You can click on the top right corner of the video to see it. So, what do you think? Why were these holes carved all around the temple at the base? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also click the bell button to get all the updates. Please like and share this video with your friends, and I will talk to you soon.